way again. I'm Tony Kriz, and that's Kevin Palau. Oh my gosh, Kevin Palau, the president of the Luis Palau Association, also the founding editor of gospelmovements.org. Hey, Kevin, you've been involved in the City Serve project in Portland and actually across the country, helping churches get involved in justice issues, get involved in social issues across their cities. And I would like you to respond to this. Aren't you, in doing that and getting involved in all this sort of justice service work, aren't you just capitulating to culture? I mean, you're an evangelistic association, and all these resources are going to these things. When you were based on a proclamational model of the gospel, aren't you just capitulating to the culture when you do this?
Yeah, trust me, Tony. We had about a 5-year evolving, growing conversation internally about that very issue because it's a valid issue and concern. Our answer, and the answer we've come to as an organization, is that we're simply recovering a biblical understanding of the gospel that is absolutely wildly enthusiastic about proclaiming Jesus, in no way ashamed of the gospel, but also recognizes that as our culture has changed, doing things the same old way is just not as effective as it used to be. So for us as an organization that was known primarily for putting on large-scale evangelistic events, used to be called crusades, then we evolved this festival model to try to be a little more user-friendly. But even with those, there was a feeling of, we just didn't want to be preaching so much to the choir. That's always a challenge with these kind of events, is that if you're not careful, you're really communicating maybe effectively to the in-house crowd, but you're not doing anything to build trust and relationships for the gospel with those that we're actually trying to communicate this life-changing message to. So for us, it was a gospel conversation to say, if we don't get out of the pews, in a sense, into the community, if we don't break down the negative stereotypes that are keeping people from even engaging with the gospel, we're not really communicating the good news. So we found it essential to do both. So we're in no way saying, hey, simply working for justice is exactly the same as proclaiming Jesus. There are times when our service is with no strings attached. In a sense, if you're serving in a public school, you're not proselytizing, you're not handing out tracts while you're serving kids, but you're doing it in the name of Christ, in the sense that you're doing it as an unashamed followers of Jesus. And I think the challenge for us is to be looking for opportunities to bear witness to our faith. So I would say that it can drift into a social gospel that almost becomes ashamed of the message of Jesus. If that's the case, then I'd say shame on us. And we as an evangelistic organization are trying to model both. Wildly enthusiastic about serving the community in ways that foster justice, and wildly enthusiastic about sharing Jesus in a verbal way. And we think both can be done very effectively, and we think Portland has been a model for that.
That's great. And I'm with you. When we read the story of Jesus, we see incredible social and justice orientation in the midst of proclamation and alongside proclamation. And I'm amazed as I travel and speak how many people say to me, I don't have anybody. I don't have any non-Christian friends. I don't even know how to engage my neighborhood.
Yeah.
And all these programs you're talking about, it's just putting people side by side, church people and city people side by side, living life, serving the marginalized. I think it's fantastic. Everybody, that's Kevin Palau. His book is called Unlikely: Setting Aside Differences to Live Out the Gospel, the story of City Serve and other things in the city of Portland. Kevin, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Tim.